take her ass off, please.
Listen, she's abstinent until marriage.
Right. So why
But
she
Michael,
But Michael, she coming out.
bust it open. Bust it open.
Well, this is something that both men and women have in common. Most men think that they PP game is off the charts,
Girl, don't get me started.
but most women think that they is off the charts too.
Ah,
Everybody think they wop, and they
Wow.
die, and they die.
And they got
Oh, they die.
7 days a
Oh,
week.
die.
They dry.
Look, who said that? They say even though you may got the that WAP, garbage trash is leaked too or something like that.
That is a low blow.
So it's like it could be wet, but it could stink too.
Cold blooded.
right.
That's
I
not
was like,
right.
ooh,
Damn.
I heard.
So, Shanah, you were saying about your dating experience.
I did not say anything about my dating experience.
Oh, well, you were
I
just saying
said
about
it's possible. I said I'm being hopeful that it is someone out there.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. That there are good men out there. That I'm being hopeful.
He's mad annoying.
Here's a question. And if you don't meet anyone that works for you, do you think that you can be comfortable with being with yourself?
Not for,
Like Maya.
is this a question to me or?
Oh,
Okay.
because I think it's for
Both
you
of you.
because I'm always comfortable being by myself.
I think
No
not
issues for
often,
me.
you know, like when you finally learn yourself and when you finally love yourself and when you finally, I'm not trying to get spiritual or whatever, but when you finally learn about God's love, you stem on that. You stem on that being your foundation for anything. So even if you don't, I'm content with being single. Because at the end of the day, I know I love myself. I know God's love for me. So I'm not going to sit there and worry about somebody else loving me. Yes, you know, it's always better to have two, get whatever. But it's just like, I'd rather be single and love myself than to be with someone that doesn't love me or so.
And also to piggyback on what you're saying, because you mentioned earlier, you're on the journey with your depression lifting off of you. So if you allowed your spirit, your soul to intertwine with someone who's not on your level, who is on a different path and a negative light, they would bring you into that path, and then you'll end up being the person you were from the beginning.
Then that's what it's called, soul ties.
Yeah.
Soul ties are real. It took me a long time to break some of them things. And that's when I realized when these men sticking their peens inside of you, they're really taking something from you, and their energy is really being put inside of you, and whatever they carrying, you starting to carry down.
And you don't think,
women are receptors.
But you don't think that it works both ways?
No, it does.
Oh,
It does. Because when you're having sex, you become one flesh. So whatever you both are carrying, you're exchanging energies. That's what sex is, exchanging energies. So that's why typically you're supposed to wait till marriage in the first place. Well, biblically.
Is that what sex is?
So I have another question. So your first marriage doesn't work out and you meet someone and then you are married to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And then that marriage doesn't work out and you meet someone and you marry someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that marriage doesn't work out and you meet someone else.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Do you get where I'm going, Shanah?
What?
You're still carrying energies.
Kim Kardashian?
So you're because I'm just trying to get the correlation with that and marriage.
With sex?
with the sex and the marriage.
Well, I go off of biblically, so I don't. I go off of the Bible.
So if you were married and your marriage didn't work out, would you ever be married again? If you divorced, would you be remarried?
It depends on, but ideally, you're committing adultery. Like if you divorce.
No.
Hmm.
We can go into that Bible lesson later, but that ain't it. Because I am divorced and remarried.
Right. No, but I'm saying like basically if there we could go into that later.
Yeah, we go into that Bible lesson later.
Do you understand my question though? Because you hear people say it so often, and it's like, okay, but then you're divorced and you meet someone else, so that means that you're still holding on to that energy from the previous person.
If you're not healed, yeah. You have to break
Like
that.
some people have the gift of.
But here's the thing: why did it have to be? Why did it? Wow. Why? What would make the energy negative energy?
If it was a toxic relationship.
But what if the energy? What if the racial relationship wasn't a toxic relationship?
Then you wouldn't have the negative energy from that person.
Okay. Do you
But in my
understand?
opinion, I don't know.
Do you understand what? Because we have to be careful in how we use language and the explanation and how we say things are this, because not all the time is negative energy.
Right.
Right.
When people talk about soul ties, and they always use it as, and I've heard it more than once. And oh my gosh, what's her name from Mary? She even had this whole, because I was holding on to him. I'm like, okay, so was it his energy that was negative? Or was it your energy that was negative?
Right. But that's when healing comes in.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to say, I held on to that energy, but whose energy was the negative energy? Right. Was it your energy or his energy that was the negative energy? Because your energy could have been the negative energy that was in that relationship.
Right. No, definitely. But that's when I was like, you have to really learn how to heal and everything.
If
you could be the problem.
You get technical when you talk about energy. When you have a relationship with somebody and you're married to somebody, I'm just going by marriage. Most married couples, when you have sex with that person, it's a pleasuring, enlightening,
right.
wonderful spiritual experience. You know what I'm saying? It's all of that. So while you're actually in the act of,
right,
there's nothing negative that's being transmitted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all love. It's all wonderful. It's all I love you too. All that good stuff. And and now I'm obviously speaking from a land far away.
Mm-hmm.
far away.
Far away.
So if that relationship doesn't work out, the part of you and that person being together, and if you have a child together, that part was special. That part was love. That part was, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now the attitudes and all that good stuff and how you played with my mind, not necessarily meant
to bring that into the new relationship.
That's what I'll bring in. But as far as this part, if we was, good together, we was good together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
That's just that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, was that what you were trying to say?
Yes.
Well,
I didn't know we were on the same page.
I was trying to get that understanding, because why do we always have to say that it always seems as if when it's spoken about, the energy always had to have been something negative.
Right. And it's not always negative.
Right.
I'm basing off of my experience. Like I ain't basing off of nobody else. I'm basing off of my negative experience.
What was you doing? Okay.
Right. So then, because that's
Me. I never said for y'all. Y'all married. Mm-mm.
Listen, listen, Linda. But I think everything is a learning experience, and when you're with somebody, you learn from that. Even if it was a bad experience, you can
True.
still. And if you don't learn, then most likely you'll repeat it
Repeat it again.
again. So the best thing to take away from a relationship is a lesson.
and that's within life in itself.
Yeah.
Every experience you go through is a lesson, and you have to be mindful of what you do with the next phase
Right.
in everything. On what did I learn from that last situation that I can either take into this or not bring into this.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you think about the situation with the Wendy and with the Mary, I'm sure that they were very much in love. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause Even
Definitely.
even
Definitely.
Wendy was saying how that day when she had on the Halloween and she was Liberty,
The
Lady
Statue of
Liberty.
But
Liberty.
yeah.
Yeah, and she fell out, and he came and he scooped her up in his
Right.
arms and
Right.
carried her away. She was just like, okay, maybe we can work it out, because
Right.
she still had hope, even though she had receipts upon
Mhm.
receipts that he was doing what he was doing. The fact that he showed her that compassion in that moment and scooped her away to her office or wherever, she was just like, okay, let's forget about that. We're going to work it out,
Right.
you know, because of over one situation, but you have too many other situations that counteracted that one. You know what I'm saying?
That's like when Mary was on the Breakfast Club that time, and she said that she did a lot of things, and she did things for Kendu because she wanted him to love her. That wasn't about
That was
Kendu.
deep. That
Right.
was deep.
That was about her.
all about Mary.
That was about her.
And some people gonna kill me, but every time when I hear people say, "Girl, Mary was singing that song to me," Mary is the girl for the hood, and I'm like, Mary is a broken woman. Why are so many of us going to Mary like she's a broken woman? She was a broken little girl that grew up to be a broken woman, and
But
she cried up. She sung about her brokenness.
and a
Yeah.
lot of people were going through look at all the your tribe. Y'all went through what Mary went through.
Oh yeah.
Y'all had the same kind of father she did.
Yeah. Good.
Girl.
Good.
I
All
got
single women were women who had children that weren't married.
True.
true. I got pregnant.
She said she got pregnant.
She was married with the child and then got divorced, and
Yes.
then she was a single
Yes.
mother.
Yes.
Unfortunately, see, I try not to. I'm not trying not to go back down that lane again. But if when I worked at one of my offices, I think I was the only black woman there, and most of the women were Caucasian, maybe a Spanish person here, Asian person there, and all of us were married, all of us. And I would look around saying, "Damn, like all of us are married."
Mm-hmm.
And had I been in a situation was a bunch of my color in the same office, it wouldn't be all of us married. I might have been the only one married, or maybe another person married. So a lot of those women that are not married go through relationship after relationship after relationship because they're trying to find that one person. And through going through those relationships, they got to listen to Mary's songs because they're going through the garbage. They got,
I've been in offices with women that don't look like us, and they were all trying to find a husband.
and they probably found them by now. How many years ago was that?
They were all trying to find a husband. Some of them were trying to find a husband before a certain age. All I'm saying is, I had a husband and they didn't, and they were all husbands.
Okay.
And we could
you know what? We got to go to your planet because your planet does not fit this census bureau.
Take me with you. Take me.
No, but I'm telling you, it's the truth. I work and I would listen to these girls, and they talk about the guys that they were dating, and what they were doing, and what relationship didn't work out, and one who thought she was going to be proposed to and it didn't happen, and she was crushed, and the other one who thought that she would be married by one age and didn't get married until she turned 40, and that wasn't the point. It's not just us,
right?
I understand. It's not just us, but because I am me, I want to see my women.
In my field of work, I work with everybody.
Right.
And what I'm saying to you is, do not think that
we not yet married.
Don't, because
all my girlfriends that I hung out with at that were black, we was all married.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So a lot of times it's the spaces that we're in that we gauge things by the spaces that we're in.
I feel you.
If you're not in different spaces and in certain areas and doing certain things, and you only looking at things from one lens, then that's what you are gonna see. But I'm telling you, from my experience, from being in certain places and being in certain lanes and certain spaces, that's not the truth. You should just remember, we're a minority. Please don't forget we're a minority.
13% of the population.
Just remember we're a minority. So anytime you see a number like 75% for us, remember where we fall on that pie chart.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys of course everybody's on social media. They're basically calling her a hoe because she's dated multiple people within the industry. But if it was a guy like Future,
Common and dated a bunch of women.
Right.
Common is community peen, and she's community P.
Right.
I think her resume though. I think what happened too is the fact that she's it could be 2018 through 2019 through 2020, 2021. It was 4 different dudes, and maybe in some years it was been 2 dudes in the same year. So she's had a lot of bodies.
Right.
And bodies in 4 or 5 years.
And then she was dating Diddy and his son.
Yeah.
Okay, but
has that been established? Do we know that that's true or no?
But at that age, if she was just a regular woman who had a 9 to 5 at that age, she's dating. No, she's not a hoe. She's dating.
Oh, what makes her a hoe?
She's dating. That's not a hoe.
No, I don't consider her a hoe. I'm saying society would still consider her a hoe.
Do they consider Taylor Swift? Do they consider Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift has a boyfriend has a new boyfriend every year.
Yes.
And it seems like she writes an album about each boyfriend every year.
So is it the same standard for Taylor and for Lori?
Of course not.
I'll be honest with you. I don't have a problem with Lori Harvey because
at all.
She's 24.
I do because she's dating Michael
right.
B.
She's 24. Okay, Michael B. Jordan could be your little brother. Stop it. She's 24 years old. She's dating different people.
Michael is not 24.
When you're I said she is.
So you say he could be my little brother.
He can be. He's 30-something years old.
Listen, I'm only 38.
Listen, what bullshit. When
people, I fell asleep.
When you're that age, it's okay to date.
Yes.
You can actually date 3 guys at the same time.
Right.
There isn't anything. See, what people fail to realize what dating is the process of elimination.
Elimination, yes.
And we get too caught up. Oh, she was with Future, and she was with Trey Songz. We don't know if she had sex with all of those guys. We're
Right.
assuming that she did. We don't know if
I'll
she
bet
hung
my
up.
next check
Remember,
on
when
Friday.
Lori Harvey took that trip with Future, she had all her girlfriends with
Girls
her.
with her. Right.
So was she really on a trip with Future? Or was she on a trip with her girls and Future was there also? See, I don't want to say, because I'll be honest with you, if I had a daughter, I would like for my daughter to date. I didn't date around. I didn't date around. I married my first boyfriend.
I think for me, as a
I
mother,
wouldn't think my daughter.
as
I
a
wouldn't
mother
think it
of
was
3
wrong if
kids, like, okay, so I'm gonna put myself in this situation as like, I would love to know what Steve Harvey thinks, because that's another thing. Everybody's like, how Steve Harvey is sitting back and watching this.
But
But
what is she doing?
she's dating. That's
She's
what you do
dating.
when you
She's
date.
doing what she should be doing. She's dating.
I think me personally, though, for my 3 girls, I think I would tell my daughter to slow it down a little
So
bit.
let me ask you a question.
If
So
she
let
was
me ask you a
sexing all of
question.
them,
So would you want your 15-year-old daughter to be with the same boyfriend till she's 20 years old?
unless he's gonna be a doctor, yes. No, if
So
he,
My
you want
no,
your
no,
15-year-old
no. If
daughter
it
to
was
be
no,
with
no, no,
the
no, no,
same
I wouldn't
dude?
want her to, because I think you're stunting your growth. You're not learning.
So she got a date.
So what does your daughter have to do?
Yeah,
Date.
because, like I said, all of this is like a circle. So if my daughter chose to have sex with all these men that she's dating, going back to the whole thing when we talk about when you're sexually interacting with someone, they take a piece of your soul, blah blah blah. I wouldn't want my daughter to be giving her piece of her soul out every time she's with these different dudes. So I would ask her to slow it down and just make sure before she gives her cookie up to be abstinent, date the dude, and then if you feel like he's the one, then give it up. But don't just
That's
be every time you meet a dude.
I think that's the conversation that most mothers would have with their daughters. However, we know that our daughters will still do what they're going to do when they want to do it, how they want to do it, and then lie to us.
right. I just think they
Mhm.
like, even if you're gonna date, but I feel like instead of just broadcasting everybody that you date, like, do
But
it on.
I don't think she
but who?
broadcasted them. I think it was the blogs.
But exactly. It's just like
I know she came out with pictures of her and Michael, but did she have
but she
pictures of her
never
and
was
everybody
like,
else on her
yeah,
page?
no.
I
I
can't.
mean, do her.
Eva's just mad. Eva's hating.
Because that is
That is
Michael B.
real.
Jordan. So get Lori. I'm right here, boo. Like,
Oh my
Okay,
god.
well, clearly you're not right there.
Because he didn't find
And
you.
right, clearly
he
you're not
didn't
right
find
there.
me.
He didn't find you.
And
It's
listen,
quarantine.
listen
Let
to
me ask
me.
you a question. If he said to you, you gotta come out that abstinent lane.
Busted wide open. Busted wide open.
I leave Lori, but you gotta come out that abstinent lane. She
I'm
gonna
like,
go to
my
the
place or yours.
wait,
Like,
I
she gonna
can't.
pack her shit up, tell her support group, listen, I got to go. It was Deuce, it was nice meeting you.
You know,
I
it's
know I told y'all I was gonna bring cookies to the next meeting, but I ain't coming.
you know what? I'll send you to via DoorDash. I'll send it via DoorDash.
busted wide open.
I'm done.
You ain't worth a dime. I ain't
All I'm saying is I'm going to allow Lori Harvey to do Lori Harvey
Yeah, you know, enjoy life.
until she finds the
Eve is
one,
mad over here.
finds
Eve is
her,
very
and
mad.
whatever happens, happens.
Right.
She is
That's it.
mad. But listen, Common has publicly claimed at least 72 people in the industry.
Yes.
And freaking Tiffany was on Ellen the other day claiming him hard body. Yeah, that's my man. Show his picture again. Ain't he foreign?
You do
That's
that,
my man. No, that's my man.
and you know damn well he ain't wifing her. Let me stop. I'm sorry, Lord. Cause she might be the one. But Common's track record, he be housewifing them for a minute for like
She
2
was
years.
claiming him every segment of the show. She had something to say.
You know he is throwing it down. You know girl, did y'all see that scene in what movie was that?
That's right.
Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, no.
It's called The Kitchen when she was with Melissa McCartney. And
Oh no, I didn't see that.
No.
Damn. I think that's when they linked up because the kissing scene that they did in that movie, and this was before it came out that they was boyfriend and girlfriend. Oh my God. So
I ain't see
they
that.
tearing it up. And
I gotta go watch that.
Yes. Just fast forward towards the end.
It's on Cinemax now.
Oh,
It
okay.
feels like every damn night.
I got to watch. I gotta watch.
The kiss scene was off the chain.
So, with this double standard, ladies, what's your takeaways? Eva's still tight over.
Do you
and
be happy
doing you.
Yes.
I agree.
Do whatever makes you happy.
That's right.
If you want to be abstinent, that makes you happy.
Right.
If Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey want to be with each other right now, it's making them happy because they have nicknames for each other.
Yes.
So if they're happy right now in this moment, let them be happy.
Well, Michael, if you're listening, my number is 7.
Make sure you listen below, Chaya.
Have it flashing on the screen.
Yes, in red. Pink, 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 pink.
And have it travel. You know how they have it like going across.
Put a ticker across in red, bright red.
Your Instagram is THEE.EVEMONROE.
Girl, take her ass off, please.
Listen, she's abstinent until marriage.
So why
But
she
Michael,
she coming out.
But Michael, bust it open. Bust it open.
Ain't no good. What's your takeaway, Kish?
Well, we talked about women being strong and having to hold it down and all that good stuff. And, I just pray that every woman or any woman that's out there that has to hold it down and a piece of her is being taken away. I just pray that God comes and rescues you and just, have power in prayer and he'll get you. He'll help you out. But just don't allow a man to just walk all over you and take away your soul because it's not worth it. Why you? Look at your face.
What is that for, Joe?
Because I don't think it's being taken away. I think people give it up.
Giving it up.
See, now that's another.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's another show.
Because some women don't understand that they're giving up because they don't know their strength. They don't know the strength that they have, and it's generational that makes them be certain ways,
Right.
men and
right. So it's not being taken away.
Right.
Okay, it's exchanging.
There's a lot of handlers out there. I'm telling you, there's a lot of men that are handling these women and making these women feel like they can't get out their situation.
Look at Whitney Houston. She was on top of the world, but her handlers did not want to try to get her help because they needed her to keep their pockets and their rent paid. And they was willing to let her die doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Okay? Shout out to Whitney. Peace.
My takeaway is live and let live.
And her husband's name is Bang bang. Just know your strength. Women, know your own strength. Know what you possess, and walk with your head up, shoulders back, and do the doggone thing. We are strength. That's who we are. Take it and use it and serve it. Okay. Thank you to my chicks, my co-hosts, my sisters, Shanah Don, EVE, Chola B, and Keisha. I'm Chaya. Good night, everybody. Peace.